Okay, now this is actually, yes, this is actually the the YAML file we're looking at. Now the key name is Omoba. That's the key name I have in my system. The region is US East 1, the same region we placed earlier. The instance type is the T2 micro. That's the instance type, T2 micro. And the email type is 759 BC50A. This corresponds to this right here. This email 759 BC50A. Yes, we're gonna have a wait time. This is like a delay, so you could, the system could actually run and create the instance. Now the number of instances, the count, we could have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 instances if you want. The instance tag name is, I just put AWS lab server. The owner is playbook. Playbook is the name of the account that owns it. Then this pretty much the volume defines the hard drive, the hard drive volume settings that you want. Now the VPC subnet ID, the VPC subnet ID should correspond. You should go over here, go over to AWS. These are the things you have to do before you run the playbook. Go to virtual private cloud. And you click the subnets. It's going to show you the default subnets that you have available. Then you just pick one. You pick any subnet available. Pick any subnet available. You copy this or anyone. And that case, what we're using right here is 33E. That's it. This is ECO40BA4. Subnet ID ECO40BA4, and that corresponds with this. This is it. This is the subnet ID I'm using for this tutorial. It may be different for you. It may be different from you. One other thing you need to do, you need to create a security group. If you don't have a security group, just go over here where you have security groups. Then you click create security group. Enter a name. You can name it playbook or ansible, whatever, or let's name it playbook. Call it playbook 2. This is a ansible playbook security group, and pretty much you create. Then right here this is an Ansible playbook security group. We're gonna set the rules that we're gonna use to connect to this. The first custom rule is we're connecting with HTTP. We're connecting with HTTP. You could add any rule you want. HTTP 8.80. The source could be anyone /0. This allows anybody to be able to connect to this security group. Let me just take this down. Allows anybody. Let me just go over to go over to the earlier security group I created. I'll just show you the rules I have in it. I have HTTP port 80. The port training port 80 and the source, anyone can connect to it. But now the HTTP port 22, this is the SSH. This is from your machine, and this is the IP address I'm using to connect. It could be your IP address could be anything. You could use any. You could also make it open. But it's always advisable to use your own IP address to connect to it. The outbound rule allows all traffic, so it could go to the internet, it could do anything, and it's very important you have this. But the most important is the security, the name of the security group. the group name, which is ansible sj. In this case is playbook 2. So right here in our YAML file, after we have the owner of the security group, we have this is the subnet ID. Now the name of the security group is very important. This assigns a public IP to the instance, and this is the name of the security group. It corresponds to this name we have here. Also, finally, this is very important. This is very very important. The wait sequence. It tells the AWS to wait for the SSH to come up, and this is just a simple code. Wait for a host. There's a public domain name, the port, the delay time, the delay timeout, when it starts, and the items displayed. And this is a variable that pulls out the parameters that all these to work with. And that's the end of the playbook. Now once we have this playbook, you could just copy this. If you have this file, maybe later I'll make this file available. I'll make the file available along with the video, so you could just run it and you could change whatever parameters you want to change and test and see how everything goes. You just save this playbook, whatever name you want, with the YAML extension YML, and that's pretty much it. So once you have your playbook configured, the next thing you're going to do is run the playbook. This is where the juice is. This is the whole point of this tutorial. Once you run the playbook, we're going to see how the EC2 instance is created. Now for us to run the playbook, I'll just do a quick it's simple. You put the ansible command, ansible playbook, ansible-playbook command with the I instance specifies where we have the host file. The host file is let me just do a little recap on what a host file is. The host file is the list of hosts. It's like an inventory of hosts that we're holding on the local machine. It helps us keep track of the machines we're dealing with. For example, let me do a nano of my host file I have here. Now this is the web server. This is 192.168.0 Ansible connection. This is local. This tells Ansible that this host is our control host, is our local host. You could have web server hosts, you could have developers hosts, you could have so many hosts, you could list them up. It helps you keep track of it helps Ansible keep track of the machines that it's running and what it's doing. So let's go ahead, and if you notice, the host IP conforms to the IP address I have on the machine that I assigned earlier on in the vagrant file. The vagrant file here, you see, this IP was the same IP that I have on the host file. Now let's go back to let's go back to Ansible playbook. The I instance specifies the location of where the host file is. If you don't specify the location, it's gonna go over to the default location. The default location where it has the host file. Ansible creates has a default host file for you if you don't specify this, but I recommend you have your own host file, so you could specify anyhow and any way you want. Then this is a new.yml. It's where I have is the YAML file that runs the playbook. So once we click enter, let's see what is going to happen. First, it gathers facts. It's gathering facts. Let's see. It says gathering facts. This is the IP address. IP okay. That's good. So now it's running the task. It's trying to provision the EC2 instance.